Virgo, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation from Born Without Boundaries. In this video, we'll review the major planetary aspects and transits and how they impact your natal sun and what that means for your day to day. We're going to start really broad with the big stuff that everybody should be aware of, and then we're going to whittle that down and focus on Virgo specific information. And then I'm going to break things down into the decans. A decan is a group of 10 degrees. Every zodiac sign has 3 of them because every zodiac sign has a total of 30 degrees. And by breaking that into the decans, I can see where a more accurate set of angles to know what aspects are forming between your natal sun and the rest of the planets around it. Aspects are angles. They are the energetic relationship that transpires because an angle is formed between 2 planets. And so just because you're all Virgo doesn't mean all of you are being impacted in the same way. For this video, all you need to enjoy this video is your birth date. But the most accurate way to enjoy any kind of astrology is to start with your natal chart. And so if you want to pause this video and quickly go get your natal chart, that's a great idea. Or get it after this video. All you need is your birth date, which you already have, your birth time, and your birth location. And with that information, you can get a free natal chart in many places online. Many places, just search free natal chart. And in a couple of seconds, you'll have your completed natal chart and you'll know exactly where your sun is located and all the information you'll need to know to start your journey into a deeper understanding of astrology. Believe me, guys, it's got nothing to do with those horoscopes in the papers that we grew up in. All right, let's start really broad. Really broad. This is a reading, by the way, for June 16th to the 22nd, which was in the thumbnail and the title, so you probably guys already know that. So tomorrow we have a new moon in Gemini. It is around 26-27 degrees Gemini. That's when the moon and the sun will conjunct. It is square to Neptune because the sun is square to Neptune all week long, which could be about self-deception or delusion or even just distraction because you're daydreaming a lot. But it is also a very creative energy. So if you know where to place those daydreams and use them to create all different kinds of creativity. In Gemini, creativity usually comes in the form of writing or expression with words, but any kind of expression will be good for you to help focus that energy. And then on the other side, we have this new moon being semi-square to the Venus-Mars conjunction, Venus especially. So there's this energy of sort of waking ourselves up to delusions we've had around our sensuality and our sexuality. That can take lots of forms, including not realizing we have it or underestimating our attractiveness. But it can also be a lot of things. I think information is coming in to really shake us awake, or new conversations with people are coming in to really shake us awake. So this will be interesting, but this is a powerful new moon to use your words to manifest. Whether it's written or spoken, welcome in those manifestations with words. So we also have on the 17th, Saturn going into retrograde, which does slow us down a bit. Pluto's in retrograde already, and then Neptune will be going in retrograde by the end of this month. What does this mean? It means that, at least in the northern hemisphere, summertime is here. I know in the southern hemisphere it's not summertime, but I think we're really lucky in the northern hemisphere because it is. And we get to naturally slow down in the summer. And that's basically what these outer planets going into retrograde really means. It's a time to slow down during the year. Just cut back the pace a little bit and enjoy what you have instead of what you want to get. So Saturn goes into retrograde on the 17th, and also on the 17th, Venus and Mars are officially within 5 degrees of each other. So that is a full-on conjunction. Venus and Mars conjuncting is all about our sensuality, our sexuality, our vitality, and it's happening in Leo, so it's definitely romantic. So it'd be interesting to see how all of this plays out. We have a lot of other helpful aspects going on this week. This is actually a pretty big week for aspects or things coming about. We have Venus and Mars, the conjunction of Venus and Mars trining Chiron. which is healing, self-acceptance, an expression of our pain becoming something that makes us beautiful, or us healing. So healing romantic situations, healing our relationship with romance, our ability to incorporate and be desired. All of those things, this is a healing and cathartic energy, which is very beautiful. We also have Mars square Uranus, and that means rebellion and change and switching and not wanting the same thing. So we're going to be willing to make the changes we need in our mind to heal ourselves and be able to make progress. We also have Jupiter square Venus up through the 19th, which makes things excessive and extraordinary. It will volumize. It could, at this point, volumize the healing for us, or point out where we have been excessive so we can help ourselves. And then we have the very helpful aspects of Jupiter sextile to Saturn, which means you can do anything. The optimism and expansion and adventuresomeness of Jupiter combined in a sextile with the groundedness and the seriousness and the discipline of Saturn, you can make anything happen. Anything happen, and things will happen under this beautiful aspect. And then we have Mercury sextile to Venus, which means our communications will be eloquent, poetic even. It will be beautiful and graceful, and these can come up with very happy romantic not relationships, but conversations that, in other words, also help to heal. So I think this is going to be an absolutely beautiful, beautiful week for a lot of us. Let's talk about the Virgo specifics. So we look in the zodiac sign of Virgo right now, and there aren't any major planets there. But don't worry, because your natal suns are fixed from the day that you're born. They don't change. That's all got to do with sort of the blueprint of your life. So there are still things interacting with that. Mercury is your ruling dignitary, and you should always keep an eye on where Mercury is, because it will kind of color the broad strokes of everything you're experiencing day to day. Mercury is in Gemini. It's about 10 degrees from this new moon. It is going to be sextile to Venus and eventually sextile to Venus conjunct to Mars, which is opportunity to really speak and understand intellectually your own sexuality, sensuality, and to be able to have those romantic conversations or conversations about who you are and self-expression. I love this energy. From the 21st to the 22nd of this week, Mercury will also be sextile to Chiron and sextile to Venus and Mars at the same time, while Venus and Mars are trine to Chiron. This is having conversations that help us heal, having new interactions or friendly interactions that help us heal our sensuality, our sexuality, maybe our sexual desires, or maybe our lack thereof. All of this will start to be healed and helped and, made right is all I can say. And then we have Mercury trine to Chiron. So I already said that. So Mercury is basically delivering this messaging around healing some sort of our divine feminine, divine masculine aspects, society-wise and internal. It'll be really interesting to see how that plays out. Let's go into the decans. So if your natal sun is located between 0 and 9 degrees Virgo, you are a Virgo 1 because your natal sun is located in the first decan of Virgo. This correlates to the birthdays of basically August Virgos, anywhere between the 22nd and the 31st of August. Definitely Leo cusps would be Virgo 1s. Your natal sun by or up through the 21st is sextile. No, it's by the 21st is sextile to the current sun. So by the end of this week, there will be an uptick in your courage, your vitality, and your sense of purpose in your own life, as well as your ability to shine. That's a blessing. It's also trine to Jupiter. Your natal sun is trine to Jupiter all week long. This is a huge blessing. It's got to do with abundance and opportunity coming to you in peaceful, harmonious ways, bringing harmony into the situation. Virgo 1s, these two are big blessings for any kind of progress you may want to make in your life this week. You also have a long-term opposition to Saturn, but Saturn is going into retrograde, so it'll kind of slow things down a little bit, which is really nice. Opposition to Saturn just means you're working really hard and you feel like you can never work hard enough. But with Saturn going into retrograde, that kind of seems like you're able to backtrack a little bit. And then we have a quincunx on both sides, one to Neptune and one to Pluto, which could just cause frustration in general. But since Pluto is in retrograde and Neptune will soon go into retrograde, and these three are all long-term aspects, there's a sense of being able to let yourself just be at ease for a little while and not be so frustrated and bothered with all the things going on and playing out in your mind and the world changing or seeming to change so quickly. This is intense energy of change and motivation to change in your life, but you can still enjoy the summer. And this week, at the end of the week especially, with that sextile to the sun and all week with the trine to Jupiter, the universe is actually helping you out, even if it feels it's moving in the wrong direction. FYI. Virgo 2s. So if your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Virgo, you are a Virgo 2. This correlates to September 1st through 10th or 11th birthdays. It's around that time. Your natal suns are going to be square to Mercury this week, which is like its own private Mercury retrograde. It won't last more than this week, but communications can be a little bit tough for you guys. It could be challenging information can come up for you guys, or maybe just hiccups with technology, like sometimes happens during a Mercury retrograde. It's not going to derail you. It'll just kind of frustrate you, and it could even bring up some things that you need to know but just aren't ready to deal with. The new moon will definitely still work for you. You should definitely still manifest on this new moon. It's just all week long. Expect more frustrations than not. It's not a great week to sign important contracts or give important, like technical or professional presentations. It's not a great time to take a test, since your brain will be a little bit twisted on itself. But ultimately, I think it's definitely something you'll survive. You also have a quincunx to Chiron, which means there are some frustrating energies that you're dealing with when it comes to pain and suffering that you've been dealing with, especially physical. This is going to impact especially those of you born really toward the end of the second decan, which is more toward the 9th or 10th, since Chiron is really positioned at the end of the second decan of Aries. All of you may be feeling it, but especially you guys are going to be feeling it the most for the next year or so. Just an FYI. The Mercury retrograde will pass by the end of this week. And then for Virgo 3s. Your natal suns are located between 20 and 29 degrees Virgo. And in terms of the dates, that correlates to the end of Virgo season, so the 11th through the 21st of August. Your natal suns are in a long-term trine to Pluto. They are in a long-term trine to Uranus, which means you are surprising yourself in the changes that you're going through, but the changes are helping you, and trusting these rebellious energies inside of you are helping to drive you toward spreading your butterfly wings. This is going to be happening over the next year or so, and so trusting it and going along with it is really important. But there are dynamic changes that are happening in your life that will make permanent changes for you and your life. You also have a direct opposition to Neptune, and that also means foggy thinking, unclear thinking, being distracted really, really easily or easily fooled. In some ways, this can be helped by using the energy creatively and using it to inspire you to create and build out of your imagination. Also, a sense of it means that you're being challenged in terms of the spiritual beliefs that you have. A lot of friction can be felt around that. And this goes on for a couple of years because these planets stay where they are for a couple of years. So the universe is trying to change you. It's trying to mature you. And it's definitely going to work because the universe gets its way. This week, there will be a square to the sun all week long. So if you feel challenged when it comes to how you feel about yourself and your self-worth, how you feel about your life purpose, or you feel about sort of your courage, or you feel it's harder to be brave, then yes, this is it. And it will show you those things in your life where you doubt yourself the most on, and you can educate yourself on those things to help improve those things especially. But that also means that your natal suns are going to be square to this new moon. So it can be very, very helpful to ask during the new moon for clarity and information to help you understand the situations and circumstances that you're going through, because it's still a very powerful time to manifest, right? And this won't last all week. It'll just, remember, squares are challenges, but they're also meant to educate you and teach you or show you, the thoughts that you're thinking that could be self-defeating. So it's actually a good time for revelation and information for yourself. Just an FYI. Please feel free to leave your comments below, Virgo, because I'd love to know. And please subscribe to the channel and help us grow. We've just officially reached 10,000 subscribers here in Astrology Motivation, which I am so happy about. Thank you so much for the growth of the channels. God bless you all. Come on over and enjoy your week ahead tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries. I love you, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye, Virgo.